our water line over there that's coming from the top. That new pump that's been added to our feature and here, and we had an existing line which is over there. We then tapped that, and we tapped into that and moved it over here to a three-way valve, so that'll be able to run pump water into that place. And the bathtub right here, this is the bathtub. So we're going to put some rebar in there, crisscross it, and get a grid, and blow in all that. Probably put like a little bench maybe here, because you got a nice backrest there. It'd be kind of cool. Got our drains in here. You always want to have your drains. Burlap on the inside, chicken wire on the outside. Usually don't put it on top because gravity is going to keep it right where it needs to be. And some of these things we like to pre-pour. Might do that here. I don't know. We'll see how we're doing. So all the rocks have been basically shaped out. We're just looking at a couple of little pieces that need to be finished out. This whole area here is going to be a pond. Again, there's a drain there. And then it'll well up over and go over here, which is the end of the slide trough, as well as dump over here into this area, and then go in to this space and then dump over here into the pool. So I like that design. It just sort of came up with that. These little rocks, you can almost blow these solid. You can also put rubble in there. We've got a lot of demo they did from they had to do an adjustment on that poured in place structure. They didn't put enough steel in it, so they had to jackhammer off a bunch of stuff with an electric jackhammer that wasn't even working that good, the guys were telling me. Oh, bad. So we got the burlap on the inside here. I might take some of that rubble and just fill this in and then put some chicken around it. Same thing with this one here. And point to note, this little water level, the spa water level, is very close. So this actually would start running it the way it is would go in here, but I got to cover up that pipe so it actually rise up and be too tall. So what I want to do is put a little ridge rock here and sort of guide it down into the trough area here, which will then pass around and go into that pond I just mentioned. This area is a little bit higher and there's a little more room right there to drop down and go and gravity feed out when they cycle the spa. They always cycle the spa through the feature as it's regularly being filtered and cleaned. So this will be all moving into the pool, coming back up and cycling around that way over and over and over and over. So over here we have our burlap in here. Could put some more rocks and rubble in here if we wanted to. Same thing with this over here. We got the plumbing done, so now the complete burlap can come in, kind of push it in and around. We're going to put chicken wire on the outside of that area right there and just fill it in. Probably do a little handwork around this, just again so the shotcrete day isn't so wild and crazy, man. So we've got this very angular, sharp angular rock that's going to be the guidance for our color that we'll be using. A lot of them are just part of the original pool build. Again, here's our plumbing to start off the whole game. This one is a three-way valve. It goes to the slide right here, or goes over to two things. We've got our Grotto feed waterfall. That's the Grotto waterfall, and this one goes down all the way down there, as we talked about. Tees off a 1.5 inch for the bubbler, goes up that way to our waterfall over there. So we want to try and be able to have the power of a new pump. So we've got two pumps that'll be running on this thing. We finished in the burlap all around here. Pretty good. We got the chicken wire on this side. This one's pretty much ready for shotcrete. And we pre-poured the slide area, covered up all the pipings that came in there and teed off and came over. So this is going to have more mud on it, and probably going to fill it up to about here. So this probably will come out a little bit and then drop down into the slide trough. Probably going to pour some more in here prior to the big shotcrete day, wild and crazy shotcrete day. This over here, pump closest to me, or pipe closest to me, is the Grotto waterfall feed pipe. It's 2 inch. It's all tied in there. It's ready to go. It's capped. We like to pressurize all of our plumbing so that if there is some issue, some leaking somewhere, or if people are working the bust into one, then we can fix it now before all the concrete is everywhere and shotcrete it in. So that's always good to put a valve on there, or pressure gauge rather, plumb that in and get her going. Gonna put some concrete around. I get all the shadows there, right around the hole. You can see a little bit of chicken wire on the downhill side. That's to hold the cement, so we can blob it in there. We don't mix it too thick, and we'll be able to then get an exact finished line before shotcrete day. Shotcrete day is crazy, man. Got the same thing going on over there, a little bit of chicken wire you can see. We had a little more steel right here to really get crisscross crazy. And I'm gonna walk down and take a look at the columns that we poured, or I poured yesterday by my little self, 840 pounds, my skinny old body. And today I'm gonna finish up this whole upper spillway area stream bed, get it going. We got rocks here that could use some burlapping, as well as that one like you saw on the other side. This one's a little taller, burlap and chicken as well. And that one over there, that little area is probably gonna have a little stone, so the water will come out a little pinch point, drop down, and then bounce around. I haven't quite figured out how that rock's gonna go, but we'll figure it out. So let's walk down. So we've got the feature going on pretty cool. We're almost ready for our shotcrete on the shotcrete day, probably within a week and a half. My kids, my sons have been out of town, going on to Hawaii, and their first vacation away from mom and pops of any length, where they fly in an airplane. They did go to Sierras and and enjoy a fishing trip, but they caught so many fish in the first 5 days, and they got sick of eating fish, so they came back. They were supposed to go for 14 days, but didn't quite make it. So anyways, okay, so we're down in the pool now. Let's walk over here. You can see how we have preformed with our pegboard, and you just put a piece of tie wire through 2 spots and tie it into the rebar. You put dobies in there, and I'll walk up this so you can see what we're talking about. Yeah, see there's rocks we can use as adobe, pieces of scrap, cement, and like this, just a piece of broken off concrete. And so this all area has gotten sort of a rough fill. This is all going to get shotcreted again, remember? So all this, and some of the cracks in the bottom of the pegboard, we just put some old pieces of rubble. You can see the rubble inside here. That's just from demoed concrete somewhere. You know, use the stuff in your job site, you know. Take care of things. This is going to be filled up solid. I'm going to put another piece of rebar, I think probably from here to here, maybe 2, and this will allow this surface to be faux rocked out a little bit, sort of on a wall kind of a look, and so that pipe will be covered up and it'll bounce off this and pitch over. We needed drain lines, as we spoke of before, so there's 3 of them there. So we're going to go ahead and fill in all that real nice with some mortar, make it nice, or just let the shotcrete guys blast away. How's it going? And so the pegboard has been removed. Before the concrete was set, I troweled that to try and create that wall and that pitch of what that rebar has been established in. You know, you don't want to spend all that time making your rebar shape and then lose it in the concrete phase. And so you got to kind of keep an eye on the the shotcrete guys, otherwise they will just a lot of times just blast right through things, because their job, they're used to pools is just get it out of the pipe, get it out of the cement truck, go go go. So here we see again the pegboard that we use for the grotto. I'm going to put some more crisscrosses in here to even get more steel in here. Got a little bump out here. Want some variation in your rocks, and always keep trying to get better at that, you know. So over here we used some diamond lath, and this stuff is brutally sharp, and it will open you up like a razor blade. All these little pieces right here, brutally sharp, like right here. If you just me especially, I got thin skin from all the dialysis, it kind of tweaks you. And so wrap that around there, and I use stones and scraps, you see here, to separate it from the rebar. We really want to try and get that coverage over our steel. Some of this stuff I'm going to just try and cut out. We added some more right here to get some more coverage, as I was just mentioning. This will be a solid rock probably, because it's just not that big, and there's enough scrap laying around I can fill that up more. Use the tie wires, and you can just run them across the whole little span, push it through, weave it out before this piece is all clamped down. It's flimsy and open. You can reach around and help you feather and pull it through. So all these pieces of tie wire, I'm going to be pulling off, cutting off, flush with this. Try and pull some of the this diamond lath off as much as I can. Some of this is going to come off too, because we poured that upper section, which I'll walk up and show you in a second. Here's the inside of it. I did this one before, and then added this second piece here up. And like I said, I'm going to try and pull off some of this diamond lath. The less metal you have in the pool, the better, as far as future rust possibilities. You can see here where I tied it in here, and they went all the way up to here to just sort of hold this surface in while the concrete was coming in and pushing out. Same thing here. This one went over here to kind of hold this space right here. This one here wrapped around this way, and you bang it real hard as you're filling it up to try and get it to vibrate down in and get tight, and so it's nice and solid. You can see some of it over here. So some of these little pieces I can take out, but I still need this stuff for the big shotcrete day, of course. So yeah, so we're going to be pulling off some of this diamond lath, but I made that so that it didn't touch the rebar. At least that was the goal, and use a little piece of rock or broken concrete to get that going. Here you can see there's a little bit of space underneath there, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and chop that out and pull it off, and as much as I can just tear this whole thing out of there, the better. Yeah, see, I want to get that out of here so Mr. Shotcrete Pump can come in here and do his thing. And we just don't need more of this in here than is necessary. So I'll chop all these wires off with a carbide disc on my angle grinder, see if I can peel it out a little bit. You'll get pretty far. Sometimes it's integrated into the concrete too much and you can't really get it off, and that's okay. This is hard enough now to be really able to be shotcreted and covered very nicely, and it'll attach really well to that because it's very rough. You can see I'm sitting back here. There's a really nice big grotto coming around here. We got a huge big bench seat and lots of room inside this space. These boulders are great. They're humongous, and all that pegboard is going to be taken care to keep the cement concrete out. Over here we do have our window. Once the concrete's poured, I'm going to just take a sawzall, which is a saw. It looks like a sewing machine, but it cuts through with a pointed blade on it, and we'll cut out that window, but it's sort of in that space right there. I figured that out after Daniel went ahead and put all the pegboard up, and so that's all right. When you're working with this stuff, you want to be careful. You pay attention. If I caught my eye, the corner of my face, this is just razors. This stuff is just brutal. I actually have a little scratch on my forehead that I didn't really realize when or how, but yeah, it'll get you. So here's the other big grotto space, and there's the window over there. That lets light in. These things are amazingly dark when you enclose them all in, and they're all shotcreted, and all you have is the spillway space. So good to have a window. It also gets air in here. So this is moving forward nicely. I'm gonna just go ahead and mix up in my little iMirror mixture from Home Depot. $285 paid for itself in the first day. I think I've gone through 4 or 5 of them, given some away, and just a great investment. Really good little machine. And so there you see. Let's see, we've got that covered. What else? So we're gonna keep going. We got to keep doing the pegboard on all the upside down stuff. I've done it the other way. I've made it so you just put burlap in the chicken wire and then you spray the shotcrete pump. But invariably it peels away, and you end up having to do a lot of handwork anyway. Once you start doing the pegboard, you can get pretty quick with it. All that stuff's going to get shot with shotcrete again. Remember, it'll just be flashed. That's the word they call for just a skin coat, a thin coat. So we're going to flash all that stuff, Here's the slide, looking up the slide. I'm gonna come shooting down here and come up this way. Waterfall is gonna come right over here, dump out, which is gonna be really neat. Never done that before. So we are looking at a brand new element in a project that I had never done before. So, try and hike up here without killing myself. So yeah, Del Mar Fair project coming along very nicely. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. So next update, we'll probably have all our shotcrete done, because I think you guys kind of get the idea of how this works. So Mr. Dave out here having fun in the sun in this beautiful, beautiful Southern California day. Another one of those. And wishing you guys the best out there wherever you're at. And so keep on hanging in there. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope there's nothing giving you too big a hard time. Hopefully no family members are getting beat up with health issues. It just seems like life has a way of throwing those curveballs at you when you don't expect it. I can certainly speak to that point. Yeah, feeling blessed, feeling thankful. And I tell you, that's one of the most important things to get dialed in if you really get good at that. And it seems to be a practice of the mind, how you choose to think about stuff. Am I going to think about how much my life is good, how many things are going right, as opposed to what isn't? And we all have stuff that isn't. But if you fill your mind with what's good, what's going on cool and awesome, then you're going to end up with a much better end result in terms of a life. You're going to be a blessing and not a curse to the people whose paths you cross. So I recommend it highly. And so yeah, be grateful too, be thankful, and be forgiving. Gotta remember that forgiveness stuff too. Forgive yourself too. Well, we make mistakes, and we're human, and everybody does. So anyway, God bless you guys. Hope you're having a good one. If you want to learn more about this, you can go to davehenderson.podia.com, davehenderson.podia.com, and we got some free PDF downloads there. And I'm thinking about putting another course up pretty soon. Kind of working on that. It's just hard to find the time with all the things that are coming at me. But anyway, I have my blogs and links to other platforms at daverhenderson.com, daverhenderson.com. Got to remember my middle initial there. So you can go to and check out my Facebook page and my contractors page and my Instagram site and YouTube. YouTube can know what to do. So anyways, have a great one. Until next time, this is Mr. Dave at the Del Mar job, update number 8. And I hope you're doing well. You can send a message to me somehow, and I'll do my best to get back to you. I'm sorry for a lot of you folks that have been commenting. Thank you so much for your kind words with the videos I do. It's it really does warm your heart when someone so far out, somewhere way out in the world somewhere, says something kind to me, and with a spirit of thankfulness. It's just amazing. A lot of good people out here still. So yeah, I'm sorry I can't get back to everybody right away. I've just been getting more and more of that, which is good. So anyways, have a great day. Until next time, we will see you on the rock pile. Have a blessed day, no matter what. All right, bye-bye.